This is Cruise Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news will fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
That's right. It's time. You are on Cruise Control. Welcome, everyone. It's Fred Staub and none other than Les Jackson right here at the wheel, ready to go. We've got a great hour of automotive information, and we're glad you're here. And we're starting off this week with Genesis showing over their new vehicle, their GV60, Les Jackson.
Absolutely, yes. There it is, the GV60.
A real electric vehicle.
A real electric vehicle, another crossover.
Yep.
Crossovers have become like potato chips.
You can't have enough of them.
You can't have enough. Anyway, Subaru cancels, I'm sorry to say, the WRX reveal. So now what happens?
Yeah, of course, it was supposed to happen at the New York Auto Show.
Yep.
Some manufacturers like Nissan and Hyundai went ahead with them, but Subaru didn't, so we don't know when the WRX is coming. But we do know that Audi is adding 2 models to its E-Tron lineup. I love these things, Les.
That is... Wouldn't you like to just get in one of those? That's an old runway.
Yeah.
And start at the threshold and just hammer it.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
I want to see how fast this thing will go. Toyota is starting to run out of chips. Gee,
Yeah.
there's a surprise. But 2 models are going to continue to be built.
You can bet they are the big sellers for sure. And Toyota has done a great job of avoiding the chip shortage. But eventually, if you're not adding to the pile and you're just taking away, it's going to catch up. And then it was announced this week, the Z06 reveal date. There it is in all its camo beauty. It is going to be coming out in October. We'll tell you about that. Plus, we have some tips or inside information on the ERay, where that's going to slat into the Corvette lineup. And speaking of Corvettes, Les, we have Lance Miller from Carlyle Events talking about this year's Corvettes at Carlisle that is coming up real soon, isn't it?
Well, it's coming up in about a week.
Yeah.
We of course, are still in pandemic mode, so we won't be there live.
Nope.
From the show, but we'll certainly bring on anyone we can.
We certainly will, and we should announce this week, too, a lot of cars with manual transmissions came out. The GR86 from the folks at Toyota, the Nissan Z, the Elantra N from Hyundai, and on and on. It seems like there's a revival in manual transmission-equipped cars. We don't know if that means anything, but we'll have to see if that manual makes a comeback. Yeah. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
But we'll make a comeback after this. Stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine.
Go for it. And welcome back to Cruise Control. I'm Les, he's Fred, and before the break, we were going to let you know that Fred's waving, and we're going to let you know about the new GV60 Genesis, which is Genesis's first all-electric, from the ground-up piece of paper electric platform.
Yeah.
It's not an afterthought. It's not an add-on. This is great engineering, as Genesis does.
Why'd they make it lime green, though, Les?
Well, I can't explain that. Perhaps I speak for fellow engineers that color palettes aren't our strong point.
Yeah. Well, they have some interesting things here. They have a floating console where the crystal sphere is located, and it looks like it's hovering in the air, which is interesting. The dashboard is designed in a wide and slim shape, emphasizing a high-tech atmosphere. It's probably built for active lifestyle people, don't you think, Les?
Yeah, I guess that rules me out.
It's a good-looking vehicle.
It is.
It certainly is a small vehicle, and we don't know that much more about it. We just know that it's built on the Electric Global Modular Platform, or EGMP, and it is completely electric. But there you have it. I'm sure it'll be very luxurious.
That's right. And deliveries will start sometime in the first half of next year.
Yeah. I mean, Genesis does a great job on their vehicles.
They do it great. Yeah.
You and
I do it right.
Have had the GV80, the
GV70,
the G80, and the G90. Which are their sedans. So they do a great job. Beautiful vehicles. Everyone seems to like them.
They're just terrific.
Comment I get, though, is they can't find dealers that sell them.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, people are saying, well, where do you get them? You know?
So that's, I guess, the one hit, if it is a hit, against them. So. But anyway, that is going to be coming up, as you said, sometime in 2022, the Genesis GV60, an EV dedicated platform. Now, we were talking last hour to Mike Evanoff from Hyundai about the Elantra, and, of course, that was one of the vehicles that was going to be shown at the New York Auto Show. It was kind of canceled with very short notice because of the COVID situation and the Delta variant and requirements for people to have vaccinations. Such a big event, so it makes sense that they canceled it, I guess, if you could not meet all those things. But, of course, Nissan went on to reveal their Z in New York at a smaller offsite event. And, of course, Hyundai did their reveal at virtually, which we've grown very used to. But here's the thing. Now, one of the big reveals that was coming up was the WRX from Subaru. And also, they're teased a new Wilderness model as well, the Forester Wilderness. Neither one of those got revealed. They were not revealed online. And so people are wondering, when will we see these? There was a statement to a website called Car Scoops that says Subaru has not confirmed when information about the WRX or the next Wilderness model will be released due to the cancellation of the New York International Auto Show. And that's all they said. We don't know what's happening. We think that WRX will still have a manual. We'll still use a 2.4-liter turbocharged flat 4, producing 296 horsepower. And we know the new Wilderness model is the Subaru Forester wilderness, but that's it. You would think they would probably mention when it was, hey, we'll be revealing them in the future or something, right?
I assume L.A., if that show takes place, that's just 2 months away.
I'm still of the feeling, I know maybe some of our automotive journalist friends will say, hey, that's not a good idea, but I really don't see the reveals being a big deal at the auto show for the auto press anymore.
I don't either, but we may be in the minority.
Yeah. Well, we'll be right back with more Cruise Control after this. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub, and the other guy is Les Jackson. We are bringing you a whole bunch of automotive information and fun. And don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out cruisecontrolradio.com, all that and more, our YouTube page. Got a whole lot going on there. We were talking a little bit about Subaru canceling its WRX reveal, and you and I were just talking about whether, reveals at auto shows will continue to go on. I think the virtual way is the way to go. The information gets out there. You can see the vehicle. You're not running from press reveal to press reveal. I think leave the auto shows for the general public. Which to me, that's the reason for the auto show. You're cross-shopping Hyundai and Toyota and others, and you want it in a place where someone's not jumping on you to buy it, or someone's not going to call you 15 times a day if you say, hey, I'm going to think about it. That's what I think it's for. That's what I think it's for.
I agree. I think the reveals make much more sense economically and in terms of coverage if they're done virtually.
Yeah.
And then you can do regional kind of walkarounds.
Yeah, so you can see
for
it
the
in the
local. We get them several times a year here in the DC area. So do you.
Yeah.
And then the auto shows themselves are for the general public to see as many cars as they want to see with no pressure, salesmanship, or anything, and to get the $17 a slice pizza.
That comes out of a frozen block of ice, yes.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yes, I believe I did have a $17 ham sandwich with one piece of ham and one piece of cheese, and you are issued one packet of mustard for this. It's like, wow, the markup on this is probably 20,000%.
Boy, this must be really good ham.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what's going on at Audi, and there are some beautiful e-trons, the e-tron S and the e-tron S Sportback. They're coming to the U.S. this fall with up to, get this, 496 horsepower, 718 pound-feet of torque. You know, who says electric vehicles don't put the numbers up on the board, huh?
Well, that's tough to beat.
And there's a special boost mode that you can get that power for 8 seconds at a time. Let me tell you this, if you push that button a lot, you're probably going to shorten your range, I would imagine, right?
I would think.
Yeah.
You might dim the headlights.
Yeah. A lot of tech, 3D satellite navigation imagery via Google with newly updated e-tron route planner, predictive traffic light information that can provide speed recommendations to maintain green waves, as well as provide time to green, integrated toll module built into the rear view mirror that is interoperable. That's a big radio word, isn't it?
That's a good one.
With all major tolling agencies in the U.S. This is something that Audi has done. I think it's a great idea. Who wants to buy a sleek new e-tron and stick that Velcro thing on your windshield, right?
Yeah.
In-vehicle LTE-powered Wi-Fi for up to 8 connected services. Top view camera becoming a common thing. In almost every vehicle, adaptive cruise assist. Audi phone box with signal booster. That's interesting. And here is the new leather name of the week, Valcona leather seats. Why is it leather seats always get a name? You know, they always get
why? Why not just, call it
leather seats?
Soft leather.
Supple leather seats.
Supple leather.
It goes back to Corinthian leather. That was always, they had to throw a brand on the leather. Marketing
but these are all, but it's meaningless. It
doesn't mean
it's not an actual type of leather.
No, there's no real name for that. It's just a marketing name. Here's the thing. These vehicles will hit 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. I love that.
Oh boy.
I think those are great looking vehicles, and all the body panels fit, Les. It's amazing.
The panels fit correctly, the doors fit correctly, the paint is
good,
perfect.
Yeah. So EPA estimated range for these e-trons is 208 for the e-tron S and 212 miles for the e-tron Sportback S. So that is cool. Now, the Sportback is the more station wagon type looking one. I'm not sure which is which. But
although I'm not sure which one is which either. But the sedan-like looking one is very appealing.
Yeah. Well, pricing, let's see if they're appealing to you. Premium Plus on the S, 84,800. Prestige, 89,800. Sportback, 87,400. Prestige version of that, 92,400. Including that does not include the $1,000 destination charge. So
Wow.
So there you have it.
That's a lot of money.
I love the pause while you said that. This just in, that's a lot of money.
That's right.
We have to talk about chips because that's all we talk about. I know you like potato chips, but these are not those chips. The global semiconductor chip shortage. Now, one manufacturer's done pretty well. They had stockpiled the chips, and that is Toyota. But everything has to come to an end. They have announced this week that global production will be reduced by 40%, and their chip storage is going down. The two vehicles that won't be affected are the next generation Tundra and the Tacoma. Those are the two vehicles they're going to keep building, but
because they don't use as many chips,
and they are good profit vehicles for them.
And they're the most profitable.
Yeah, so even Toyota, who had a great run at this, is running out of the chips. We still got months and months and months to go before that gets squared. They say early 2022, but
I'm going to say next summer.
Yeah. And then we should mention this, too. If you have a Chevy Bolt EV, you're going to be getting a call. Detroit Free Press has confirmed General Motors is mailing recall notices out to 68,600 owners of the Bolt. This comes back to an LG battery problem and LG Chem. And they're going to replace certain cells of the battery, but other things like the battery case and electronics and that are okay. It comes down to a poorly manufactured battery that had two problems in each battery, affected battery module. And, of course, these cause fires, and they told people not to charge them in their home. So that's kind of a bummer because I like the Bolt. I think it's a great little entry-level electric vehicle, and I hope it doesn't sour people.
I do too. It's a shame. It's
not Chevy's fault. It's not GM's fault.
No.
It's just they got bad batteries, and that's it. I mean, it's certainly something manufacturers are going to have to look at in the future, because let's face it, in the past they built their own engines, and they know then they're responsible for that. Now you're getting your batteries from another company, and you have to hope that they're, in good shape when you get them. And there's no way to tell. They come in sealed, and it's done.
Well, it goes through testing and all the quality control, but still.
Yeah. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk classic Corvettes and future Corvettes. Lance Miller is going to join us from Corvettes at Carlisle, or Carlisle Events, talking about Corvettes at Carlisle coming up. So stay tuned for Cruise Control. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. And joining us this hour is none other than Lance Miller from Carlisle Events, talking about Corvettes at Carlisle. And it's a perfect time to do that, Les, because they are celebrating the 1971 Corvette. You had a 71, didn't you, Les?
I know something about 71 Corvettes.
And then we're also talking about a reveal date for the Z06. We know when it's going to be revealed, so a lot going on. There is Lance with the purple People Eater, I believe. A little couple of shots of Carlisle. Lance, let's talk a little bit about Corvettes at Carlisle, and welcome to Cruise Control.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's always a little rough to do these type of shows in the world we live in, but you guys have accomplished that, and you got a lot going on this year. We were talking about you're celebrating the 1971 Corvette, one of my favorites. Of course, I think they had finally gotten the Coke bottle design body dialed in by 1971, and it was looking good. Had a little bit of a rough launch in 1968, like any new body style would, but is that one of your favorites, the 71?
I love the car. You know me. I'm not biased. I love them all. And the funny thing is, even if you don't love the car, you can always go the resto mod type. So there's so much you can do now, which is it's fun. It's fun to see how everybody, plays with the cars differently.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a purist where you say, oh, it doesn't have the correct battery or whatever. You're more like me, where if you want to modify it, hey, it's been around for a long time, modify it, right?
Exactly.
Tastefully. That's the key.
Whatever floats your boat, right?
Yeah. Well, of course.
Will there be a big display of 71s, like a certain number of them?
Yes, there'll be about 10 of those cars there. And when I say that, there's going to be 10 underneath the tent, and then there could be plenty all around the tent as well. Okay. So there could be a lot on display throughout the weekend.
Yeah. Well, Corvettes at Carlisle coming up next weekend. What else do you have planned? What are some of the highlights?
Obviously, I always tell you guys, to me, the heartbeat to the organization is simply the vendors themselves. And I always say you could certainly build a car when you're there. And True. I mean that, matter of fact. I mean, it's unbelievable the number of vendors that are there, and they have all the product you would ever need to build a car. In fact, someday I think we've kidded around about doing that.
Do it.
Yeah, I think you should. What do you think, Les? They should do it and build it in two days, right?
Yep. Get a team, do it. Do a little rehearsing. And I think you could assemble one in the 2 days.
Yeah.
So Les, we're going to put that on you. You're going to build it? Is that
I have done this before, Lance, as you know.
Yes.
But, I think that would be a great idea. Also, if you want to buy a Corvette, you guys have you could probably buy one of every year of production there, I'm sure, that the amount of vehicles that are sold there each year. What do you have any number? Well, you guys love numbers, Lance, I know. So how many cars are typically sold, Corvettes are typically sold at a Corvettes at Carlisle on average?
It's impossible for us to know that. So, of course, you asked me that question.
But you're always good with the stats. And I know you're always good with the stats.
We are good with stats, but on that note, it's very difficult just because they're sold by privateers. So, there's plenty of deals going throughout the weekend, and I usually hear of them after the show, just friends that have bought cars and, friends that have sold cars too. So there's plenty of vehicles to be had there. Sometimes you can get great deals. Sometimes you find exactly what you're looking for. You just don't know. That's the fun part about the car corral. You can just go through and shop and have fun, and it's always rotating. So basically what we typically do is fill out the car corral area, and once somebody sells a car, we have somebody else that's willing to bring their car in and sell that particular car. So it's always new, fresh cars coming in throughout the weekend.
And for those watching and listening that don't know about Corvettes at Carlisle or have never been, this takes place on 82 acres of Corvettes and vendors and people. So we're talking about enormous numbers. Car corral display, I mean, what is it, like 5,000 on the field?
Yeah, we typically have about 3,000 Corvettes that are on the fun field itself. And then, of course, we probably have, I mean, I guesstimate another 5,000 Corvettes just throughout, the community. And throughout the weekend, you're typically going to get about 50 to 60,000 guests. So it's a big event. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a great learning experience because you can, I know the engineers are coming back. You can see the new Corvette. You can get up close with that. You can ask questions. There's a lot of a knowledge base about Corvettes old and new there. And there's also a guy with pie on his face.
You guys had to use that picture, didn't you?
Yeah, I believe that is at the dinner for your dad's foundation there. But you
Right.
can we've got intakes and heads sitting on tables. Anything you want to find, you can find at Corvettes, and there's part of the collection there. That's the Purple People Eater, I believe. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, it really is a great, whatever, if you just want to go and get educated about Corvettes or what they cost or what model you might like, it's a great place to go, Corvettes at Carlisle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now the show runs Thursday through Saturday. Is that a change? Because it used to go through Sunday.
We did go through Sunday, and Sunday we found a lot of people just want to go home to their families.
Mm-hmm.
So the show was pretty much, literally it became almost a quarter the size of the regular event. So when you have people that are coming from afar, they can get a bit frustrated because of the fact they're looking at all their pictures from their friends on social media and what have you. And then they get there and it's literally a quarter the size. It's frustrating. And it really bothered me. So I wanted to figure out a way to, essentially cut out Sunday, and, Thursday, Friday, Saturday are always key days. So that's what we're achieving now, is just doing those 3 days and then ending it on a bang where people are like, you know what, I got to come back. We want more. It's Saturday is going to be a really strong day, a very busy day. But we're excited, and I'm sure we'll have a couple hiccups here and there, but that's how we learn.
Yeah. And
but even the hiccups are fun.
Yeah, the hiccups are fun.
I mean,
yeah.
everybody has a good time.
And
That's what it's about.
And you still do the parade? Are you going to do the parade this year with all that's going on?
Absolutely. We're going to end it with the parade, and that's completely sold out. So that's 450 cars. So,
Wow.
a lot of things have filled up very quickly this year. There seems to be a lot of pent-up demand just due to the fact I think a lot of people kind of stayed away last year. We did host the event, as you guys know, but, a lot of people stayed home due to COVID, which, I can't blame them. I understand.
Yep. Yeah. It's got to be tough for you guys because you're based on having huge events, but you managed to kind of muscle through it last year. We're hoping that things clear up, obviously, for everything, but also just specifically for you guys, because it's all built on interactions with people. Your dad used to say that all the time. It's all about getting out there and chatting and discussing and kicking ideas around and bench racing, right?
Absolutely. And it is all about the people, as you guys know. When you come to the shows, I mean, that's the best part of these events. Like-minded individuals that are together, having fun, and, sharing ideas, modifications, whatever it may be. But so many friendships are formed at these events, and it really becomes like a reunion for many. And for that, we're grateful. It's a lot of fun. For me, it's a gigantic reunion. I see so many people, and typically it's only this one weekend a year. And I'm just grateful to be a part of the party.
Well, you're the guy that's hosting the party.
It's Lance's party. Come on, everyone.
Everybody always says, before you, of course, your father, just how gracious you guys have always been.
Yeah, it's like going to your backyard, basically.
Yeah.
And we are. It's funny you say that. A lot of events, as you guys know, are typically leased out. We own the fairgrounds, so we build it specifically for car shows. And I realize more and more when I go to other people's events, I realize how frustrating it can be when you're leasing another venue and, you know, all of a sudden they're like, hey, by the way, you can't use this whole segment, and you plan everything out.
Right.
And people don't realize how much time it takes to plan these events and get it right.
Yeah.
We're lucky because we know the grounds. It's our backyard in a sense. And it's simple to put together for us because we're doing it, you know, nonstop. So
well,
we're fortunate.
Hang in there, Lance. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with more Cruise Control after this. More about Corvettes at Carlisle, Pennsylvania, coming up next weekend. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. We are talking with one of our longtime friends about a great event where we typically broadcast live from. We won't be there this year, but it is Corvettes at Carlisle in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. If you always wondered what 5,000 plus Corvettes look like in one place, well, you can satisfy that urge next weekend, Corvettes at Carlisle. And we were talking with the leader of it all, Lance Miller, about it. There's a Carlyle Blue Corvette, and that it tells you how important Carlisle is to the Corvette community because they even named a color after Carlisle, right, Lance?
That's correct. For the 30th anniversary, they decided to dedicate a color just for Corvettes at Carlisle, and we're really humbled by it. And pretty cool when they announced it. I announced that every Carlyle Blue owner will always get in free of charge at our show. So they do take us up on that, and it's always
bet.
cool.
And people start painting everything they got Carlyle Blue to get but let's talk a little bit about the new mid-engine Corvette. Have you driven it? Do you own one, or you got one on order? Or
We've had raffle cars that I purchased for my dad's foundation. So I was able to drive those cars, not, the way I really want to drive it, nor the way you would want to drive it. But, I was fortunate enough just to get around and, jump in, get to know it, acquaint myself with it. And it's such a cool car. They did one bang up job. I commend the team on what they achieved because it's just so well rounded. One thing that I could bicker about, which anybody can bicker about a car, let's face it.
Sure.
I just love rotating gears. It's very challenging for me to have a sports car that's automatic.
Right.
And quite frankly, it's frustrating almost. It makes me want to sell a car, to be point blank.
Wow.
So that's just me, though.
Well, as you know, the whole story behind that, they said they would have had to make like a cable or rod operated shifter. It wouldn't have been great. They would have had to cut into the tub of the car to do it. And they just thought that, even though Corvette, I think, had one of the higher take rates on manual transmission cars, they just decided it wasn't worth the effort. And then, of course, to get it certified for emissions, and that is millions of dollars. So I guess they just decided we'll pass on that, which must have been a big decision for them, I think.
It is a big decision. I mean, because you do have a lot of diehards like me. But again, when you look at the statistics, they were right in what they did, and I don't fault them for that. It's just me personally, I like to rotate gears.
Yeah.
And to answer your question better, I do have a car that I don't have in my garage yet. It's the 60th anniversary of our Cunningham Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be number 3, go figure, because that's the number of the car. So that'll be exciting, and that will be Lingenfelder massage. So that car will have about 603 horsepower.
Very cool.
So it should be a pretty exciting one to drive, and hopefully I enjoy it and don't whine too much about the manual versus,
How are they
automatic transmission.
How are they building that extra power in it? Were they turboing it or?
No, it's actually naturally aspirated. So they're doing a lot of, upper end intake.
Heads.
They've totally changed that out. It looks the part too. It's beautiful. It's a nice big intake that's just, one, it's beefy looking, but secondly, it's all carbon fiber. It's beautiful. They've obviously just eased up on the airflow, and Lingenfelder certainly knows their game. So.
Oh yeah, they know how to build power. That's for sure.
Yeah, probably.
And of course, an exhaust. What's that?
Probably revs 8,000.
Yeah, I can't wait to play with it.
Now,
it won't be long. I should have that in another month or so.
What do you think about this? The big announcement this week, there is a date for the reveal of the Z06, and it is going to debut on October 26th, 2021, not that far away. This is as close as you can get to the C8 race car, isn't it? And
there's no doubt. What a cool car.
Yeah.
The platform of this car is amazing. What they can build off of it, it's going to blow people's minds. I mean, it's going to be neat to see the new cars that are coming out. I'm eager. Yeah. And, the new Z06 is going to be a pretty mean little car, as we all know. I mean, the car right now is essentially such a great street car. How can you make it better? And GM will do it.
And then, of course, there's more rumors here about the ERay. We know they've got the copyright to that name, and that they're saying will replace the Grand Sport. Of course, there's no Grand Sport right now, but they say that will replace it, and that will be the first all-wheel drive Corvette with it will be electrified and have electric motors.
Yep.
It might even be able to be driven completely electrically at 25, 30 miles an hour. I mean, that's pretty cool stuff. They've elevated it to a supercar, haven't they?
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. I was always against electric cars back in the day, and then I went out, and my daughter, who's 12 now, I got her a little RC car. And man, I hit the throttle on this thing, and it took off like a bat out of hell. It was amazing. And I'm like, you know what? This is the coolest thing ever. I'm like, once they get this right for cars, which they've done.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen it. You know, look at the Tesla Plaid right now. It's unbelievable. I mean, the thing's running 8-second quarter miles.
I know.
Oh, yeah, we drive electrics quite a bit, and you just can't argue internal combustion against them. The performance is better.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, the only
it's
thing
quiet.
we have to get
But
used
it's
to
better.
that being quiet, because that's
It's
part
odd.
of the show. Yeah,
It is odd.
Yeah, but you even like the Ford Lightning F-150, the electric. I mean, this thing, as we say with electric vehicles, Lance, you know, the horsepower is only going to go up, the torque is going to go up, and there's no like shifting through gears or you know, deciding what gear to be in. It just goes. You know, there's no deciding. It's like an on-off switch when it comes to acceleration.
It's funny, when the Tesla came out with the numbers, my mom was next to me, and I go, you know what's crazy is you could go out and buy this car, and literally I could go buy a brand new McLaren or whatever latest greatest, and you'd blow my doors off.
Yeah.
I mean, and she'd be driving it.
Right. I know.
It's so cool.
Yeah. Hey, well, let's talk more about Corvettes at Carlisle. We talked about the 71 being featured, but what else you got going on next weekend?
Absolutely. We're going to have a little Callaway display, which will be really neat. I love the aero body cars. So expect to see the C4 aero body cars, which are just, they were so far ahead of their time. It's just such a cool looking car, and it still stands today. People just love seeing that. And we're excited to have that display out there. I'm sure you guys heard about the Grand Sport reunion. That's going to be awesome.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, the number of Grand Sports that are going to be there are going to blow people's minds. We're going to have rows and rows of these skunks just lined up. So I'm really excited about that, and I know they are as well. John Heinrichs is going to come out. He has a big part in the earlier Grand Sport. When I say that, the 96 cars. And number one car will be there along with John Heinrichs, so that's nice. And we're looking forward to having him. He hasn't been there in quite some time, so he's such a good guy and gets it.
Real deal GM engineer and great race car driver. Just a great driver all around. Nice guy, too.
He is.
Yeah. Well, if people want information on Corvettes at Carlisle, get tickets, and find out, where should they go? Where's the best place to do that?
I direct them to our website, carlisleevents.com, and then just look up Corvettes at Carlisle when you're there, and you can find out our full schedule, everything that's going on. And in fact, we even have our event magazine as a PDF, so you'll see the true schedule that's going on for the weekend as well.
CarlisleEvents.com.
That's handy.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. I have to say, preparing for this, I was pulling some stills from your website, and I had a chance to go through the historical stuff. That's pretty neat, to look back at what it looked like, the fairgrounds in Carlisle.
It's amazing how it's evolved. And, we're fortunate. Like we said earlier, it's all about the people, and thank goodness everybody enjoys it. And we really do aim to please. Our team is the best in the business, and that's what we do.
Well, Lance Miller, CarlisleEvents.com. Check it out. Corvettes at Carlisle coming up next weekend. We appreciate it, Lance. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, Lance.
Time for me to say, I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We'll see you down the road.
Bye.